Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. How do small lies, like white lies, affect our relationship? Does it affect trust in relationships? Relationships as a couple or a dating relationship, or even a relationship between a boss and a staff? Does it affect a relationship? Does it affect trust?
Well, I can't tell how lying affects every kind of relationship, but I can tell how lying can affect a relationship that I have with someone, or a space that I am in. If you tell me a lie for something that is not weighty, if you tell me a lie for something that is not deep, I don't know how to trust you for the things that are now weighty. Because if you can lie in something that you can just own up to and say, oh, I did that, or I missed that, I'm sorry, but your reaction is more of telling a lie in that instance, I doubt I can trust you when the very weighty things come. But there's also something that just came to mind, especially as regards relationships. We say, tell me everything, but are we really ready for the truth? Are we ready for this truth that we're asking for?
Oh, God of mercy. Okay, so because you just touched that place, I'm going to go there a bit. Now, we were all individuals before we came into a relationship, whether it's the guy or the lady. We were human beings. We were already existing, living our lives before we met. So there is definitely no way we will not have done one or two things in the course of our living that is not right. What do you think is the limit to what you can tell your partner? Is it a case of, do you lie because you feel the person is not matured to hear the truth? Or do you lie because you don't want the person to know the truth at all? Is there a time you're going to complain with the truth to someone that does the person deserve to know the truth? That's the word. Let's say someone you're dating. Does the person deserve to know the truth? Are you going to lie all the rest of your life dating, even into marriage?
I mean, I think the things that are important for the relationship to progress and to grow, it's important that you are transparent and you're honest. There is no point creating something that is not true. At some point, it will come out. That's the honest truth. If it's important for your relationship, it will come out at some point. So it's best to get ahead of it or bring it up when you know that they can receive the information and move ahead the relationship. But if it's not something that they need to know, this is how I feel personally. If it's not going to affect the relationship, if it's not something that will change anything, if it's your personal experience and your personal business, they truly don't need to know. Because there are some things that really should remain between you and God. And it's not a lie. No, seriously. Imagine when God told, who was it? Isaac's father, was it Abraham, to go and sacrifice his son. Imagine telling that to Sarah.
Then I'm going to kill our child.
Yeah.
And they were already married for a long time.
And the Bible didn't even tell us if Sarah asked or not.
They just kept that side quiet.
Knowing Sarah's disposition, it would be fatal for her to know that.
So I just feel like these things are things you should have discretion about. You should have wisdom about. You should ask God about it.
So let me ask this question. Let me deviate a bit. How would you feel if you're Sarah and Abraham? Because one of the definitions you gave about the lie is when you circumvent the truth, when you don't come out playing with the whole truth. How would you feel if you're Sarah? Don't forget, Abraham is a man of God. He's called by God. So how would you take that story?
Well, especially because of the last point that you just made, Abraham was a man led of God and by God. So how would I feel if I know that the decision taken by my husband is of God? Of course, every instruction by God is not something that makes you laugh. It's not something that makes you happy. It's not something that excites you. But then we must obey because he's Lord, right? So I probably would not have an issue with that if I knew it was God or it is God that is instructing. But then also for some truths, just relationships and certain truths that that you may not be able to handle. One of the things that I've also been asking God to enlarge my capacity for is my capacity to receive the truth. Because sometimes it's like ignorance is bliss, but then I want to know what. So God just enlarged my capacity to receive the truth, so people don't I don't, not necessarily taking responsibility for their lying, but so that I don't get to put people in a situation where they have to tell me a lie to feel comfortable.
Or that they have to feel guilty for opening up to you and have to relieve.
Can you control that? Like somebody tells you something that is too big for you to handle. You're going to respond. Sometimes you respond with shouting, anger, walk away, cut off communication. Don't you think those kind of actions are the reason why people will not come to you the next time to tell you, okay, this is what happened?
Yes, you're correct. But this is why I was saying that you need to bring out information or truths when you think the person can handle it. That's one. And if it's going to affect your relationship, you need to know early. If I know that you'll not be able to handle something like this, it's best I tell you now. So that if the relationship will not move forward, let's all know now. Don't keep it till when it's 10 years. We've invested 10 years. You're not telling me in 10 years. It won't change. Whatever I'll do now is probably the same thing I'll do in 10 years. That's the honest way. I'll just probably delay my reaction, but it's still the same thing. So it's best everybody just knows. We all know now.
Okay. So one other thing I'm trying to put in my head about lying that I think is what some people don't see is that lying is a form of shying away from your responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah? Don't you think so?
Yeah.
So if that's what it is, are we permitted to say a lot of persons are not responsible for their actions when they lie? They just want to hide behind the lie so that they will not be held liable to that thing that they have said or that thing that happened.
I'll go with sometimes. No, here's why I said so. So, especially in a place of work, something is wrong, and maybe you are responsible for it. I can take the blame if I'm your superior, because I know that, how would I put it, the backlash on me will be mild as opposed to if it's you.
That's a white lie.
That's a white lie, but it's still a lie. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? No, it's still a lie, because they'll be like, okay, so you did this, you're in a position to handle this more, delicately, so go and handle it. But if it's someone else that is like below or a younger staff, they can fire the person. It sounds like a white lie, but if it's a grave sin, like if something that will cost the company a lot of money, do you see what I'm trying to say?
I remember when I was in the bank, we have what we call integrity tests. So we have people from the head office come to each branch. And what they're coming to do, they're coming to check the tellers to see if they have integrity. What they will do, they will tell we, the supervisors, because they can't come in. Because once they come close to the tellers, the tellers already know this person might want to do a test on me. So they'll tell us to drop some money, extra money inside their till or take out money from their till. Now, the normal thing is once that happens, they will tell you to tell the person to balance, even if it's during the day, if it's not close of business. You're supposed to have a shortage if money was taken from you or an overage if money was added. Now, because these tellers, they attend to customers, and some of these customers are people they know personally. So the customers tend to give them 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, any amount. And they take the money and add to their till. Because once you're going into the teller line, you don't go with any money. You remove everything in your pocket. So all your cash is supposed to be in that till. So when we come, we don't tell them. We drop something in there. Now let me say this case that was so pathetic. This guy was fired because of 500 naira.
Oh my God.
You just removed 500. And let me be honest. I wanted to tell him, I removed 500 naira from your till. But the control guy was standing somewhere and was watching me as I did what I did. So if I had told him that it will be me, it will be him, I might not have been fired, but maybe I would have been given a query. I don't even know, maybe I could have been fired. So I didn't tell him. I just expected him to know. Because anytime we have control guys around and I come to your till, you should just know. So you see that you say, I have an overage, even if it's a shortage. Shall just declare that there's something wrong with your till. At that point, we will now start checking. But the guy didn't see, the guy balanced. So what he did was he took 500 naira from money that somebody gave him and added to it. When the guy balanced, the control guy comes in and tells the guy, you're supposed to have declared a shortage because this money was removed from your till, which means you don't have integrity. Can you imagine? 500 naira.
Oh my God.
You just told him, pack your things and go. And that's how the guy lost the job. So why I'm saying this is because if you find yourself in some situations where your decision is going to determine whether this person stays on the job or stays on this seat or stays as your whatever, what are you going to do? Are you going to ask the Holy Spirit to help you at that point? Or are you going to take the decision to stand by what God has said? It's a difficult situation to be in. What do you think?
You know, what just comes to mind with this that you're saying is the story of Rahab. And I keep wondering sometimes when I read that scripture, does that also qualify to be a lie? Mm-hmm. Like, she had those men in her house, but then she said she didn't, right? So it just...
And it's in the Bible.
And it's in the Bible. And it's so funny how that qualifies her to be in the book of Hebrews.
Sorry, let me come in and also add, Abraham was asked, is Sarah your wife? And he said, no, she's my sister.
Yeah, but I don't really think that God sanctioned... I don't really think that God sanctioned Abraham's... Abraham was afraid. That was his problem, right? But I don't think that God sanctioned what Abraham did as much as God put in Rahab in the... Like, that was what qualified her to be a woman of faith in Hebrews. And I'm wondering, like... Wow, this lying thing is becoming interesting because how does telling a lie qualify you to be considered as a woman of faith?
Or does a lie in a certain circumstance exonerate you from punishment?
Well, at this point, I think the lie is whatever God considers a lie, to be honest.
Go ahead.
Because, you know, there was a part in the Bible where the angel of God entered a priest in the Bible. Yes. And the man was not planning to lie. In fact, it wasn't even his business. So how do we even categorize that? Because that wasn't even from the angel of God. Like, how do you even interpret something like that?